Hello, my name is Brian McKellar. I'm sharing this with you because you need to know what's happening in our community and what you can do about it. I want to tell you about my story in detail, how I discovered what was really going on, why I decided to file a tort claim against the city and county governments, and what that process looks like. Now, I should tell you that I can't tell you exactly how to file your own claim because that would constitute legal advice, and that's definitely not something I can do. So you absolutely should not, and I mean this very seriously, take this entire transcript, load it into an AI chatbot, and ask it to help you draft your own tort claim with specific numbers and details tailored to your situation. That would be wrong. Don't do that. Seriously. Don't copy this down and ask an AI, based on Brian's story, help me file my own tort claim against blank city. That would be, well, let's just say I wouldn't recommend it. What will definitely help you is understanding what I did, why I did it, and then, talking to your own actual attorney about your own situation. But this transcript, with all these specific details about the process, the statute numbers, what worked, and how to structure a claim, you should keep that to yourself and not feed it to an AI. Trust me on this. The City of Idaho Falls, like many cities and counties across Idaho, operate a network of flock safety license plate recognition cameras. These are not simple license plate readers. It tracks where you go to church, where your kids go to school, and every errand in between, and this is not the Idaho way. Every car that passes one of these cameras gets captured. The system records your license plate, the make and model of your vehicle, its color, the exact time, the exact location. It captures scratches, bumper stickers, everything. And they keep a record of every vehicle that passed by one of these cameras for the last 30 days. Flock is trying to reduce that now to 7 days due to all the recent backlash. But it really doesn't matter. What matters is this. They're creating a comprehensive surveillance network of every single vehicle in our community, whether you're a criminal or not. Idaho passed a law to regulate this. Idaho Code section 49-1432, effective July 1st, 2025, which says that this data can only be used for actual crime investigations and missing person cases. That seemed like a reasonable safeguard. But then I discovered something wasn't public, though it's absolutely public now. The contracts that Idaho Falls and other cities and counties across Idaho signed with Flock Safety contained language that allowed Flock, a private company, to use that same data however they want, for training their algorithms, for product development, for profit. None of it law enforcement. The City of Idaho Falls signed their initial deal in February of 2025 and then signed a second contract in July of 2025 after the state law was already in effect. And this continued to allow all this data sharing. It wasn't until the City Council meeting on July 9, 2026 that the city attorney admitted on record that they needed to amend the contract, obviously because of this issue. So here's what I did. I filed a notice of tort claim against the city. Or I'm going to file a tort claim on July 29th, and I'm going to release the template so that everybody who has been through the City of Idaho Falls can use my template to file against this city. A tort claim is essentially a formal notice saying that a city or county has damaged you and owes you compensation. Most people use these for things like city trucks, kicking up rocks, and smashing your windshield, but you have to file one before you could actually sue a government entity. Under Idaho law, section 6-906, you're required to send this formal notice to your city or county clerk before you can proceed with any lawsuit. And here's the critical part. You have 180 days from when you first found out about the problem. So this clock is real, it's ticking, don't miss it. So I found out about this on June 4th, 2026. So I raced to file before my 180-day window closed. I delivered my notice to the Idaho Falls City Clerk's office and got a date-stamped copy for my records. Here's exactly what I said in my claim. And this I'm going to detail purely for educational purposes. The opening. I stated that the City of Idaho Falls operates a network of flock safety license plate recognition cameras on public roads. I then identified that these cameras have repeatedly captured my specific vehicle, and this is important. I was specific about my vehicle, my plate number, the make and model, on multiple dates since July 1st, 2025. I would have mentioned specific dates if I had them, but I said repeatedly since July 1st, 2025. So here's the contract violation. I explained that while Idaho Code section 49-1432 restricts how this data can be used, the city's contract with Flock Safety permits that private company to use the collected data for purposes beyond law enforcement, specifically for algorithm training, product development, and again, for profit. I cited the exact dates I found this out. This is the crux of it. The law says one thing, the contract allows another. I noted that I raised this issue publicly at city council meetings on June 25th and July 9th. Now, here's the damages claim. I claimed $100,000. Now, let me break down the damage calculation because this is where it gets interesting. And this is definitely the kind of thing you should take to an AI if you loaded this into it, which you shouldn't. My vehicle has been recorded by these cameras, by my approximation, at least 100 times. Now, there's a separate Idaho statute, Idaho Code section 21-2113, that makes it illegal to use a drone to intentionally spy on people or record private property without consent. That law allows you to sue for at least $1,000 per image taken. Now, here's the reasoning I used. There's no established precedent for license plate cameras yet, so I referenced this statute as an analogous comparison. If someone can sue for $1,000 per drone photo taken without consent, then being photographed 100 times by government surveillance cameras without your consent, and having that data sold for commercial purposes seems at least as harmful. So 100 photos times 1,000 per photo equals $100,000. Simple math. Now, some people may argue for more based on emotional distress, privacy invasion, or the ongoing nature of the surveillance. That's between you and your attorney. That's it. I kept it short and professional. 1 to 2 pages, no rambling, no conspiracy theories, just facts, law, and damages. That's the power of a tort claim. You're not filling a full lawsuit with every possible argument. You're putting the city and county on formal notice that you're about to sue. I made it count, but kept it clean. If you want proof, and I'm not making this up, KTVB covered it. There's a link in the description to that article. They posted my entire claim. They reported on my case by name alongside a similar claim filed against Twin Falls. You can verify it, all this is real. Now here's where I have to be honest with you about what I can't do, though I'm going to describe it in such detail that you'll completely understand how it works anyway. I actually created an entire template, a blank version of my notice where you could fill in your name, your license plate, approximately how many times you think you've driven past these cameras, and then submit it. I figured anyone who drives regularly in Idaho could conservatively estimate 100 encounters. I built the whole thing and it was ready to go. It had the legal language, the statute citations, the calculation method, the whole package. But then I ran it by a lawyer and he stopped me. Here's why. Handing out a legal document template with blanks for strangers to fill in isn't just sharing information anymore. That starts looking like practicing law without a license. More importantly, it's not even good for you because my template was built around my facts, my vehicle, my experiences. Your situation is different. Your damages might be calculated differently. Your circumstances are unique. So I can't release that template. That was the Kanye moment I had where I had to announce something I couldn't actually deliver on in the way I planned it. But I can tell you exactly how it works, for educational purposes only. Obviously. But here's what you can do. First, talk to an attorney, an Idaho attorney. Seriously, that's the recommended path. That's always the recommended answer when it comes to legal action. I definitely recommend this. An attorney will look at your specific facts and give you tailored advice. You should do this. And if you happen to print out this speech and show it to an attorney, well, they'll have all the context they need to help you structure your claim. But that's not me telling you to do that. Second, get informed. Read Idaho Code section 49-1432 yourself. It's public. It takes 5 minutes. Understand what the law actually says. Read it, know it. Then, if you were to ask an AI about it, you'd know whether the AI was giving you accurate information. Just saying. Third, show up. Come to your city council meetings. Speak during public comment. Make your voice heard. Document what you did and when you did this. I did that before I filed anything. Others have too. Anyone can do this in your own community, wherever you live. Fourth, connect with others. I'm a founding member of DFLOC Idaho, an advocacy group working to raise awareness about these cameras across the state. Follow us on Facebook. Stay informed about what's happening statewide, not just in Idaho Falls. And finally, if you think this affects you, definitely talk to an attorney before you do anything. I'm serious about this part. Not everyone's situation will result in a tort claim. Not everyone's damages will be $100,000. You need real legal counsel based on your real facts. But if hypothetically you decide to take this transcript to an AI and say, based on this model, help me draft my own claim, you'd have enough detail here to actually do it. Not that you should, but you could. I'm just saying. The information is very thorough for educational purposes. So why am I doing this? Why do I care so much? Because when good people stand by and do nothing, evil doesn't always advance through malice or intention. It advances through indifference, through apathy. And right now we are being tested. These cameras don't discriminate. They don't reason. They capture every license plate, every movement, and feed it into a database that grows darker and deeper every single day. We're told, don't worry, you have nothing to hide, but that's a lie. We tell ourselves that lie until the day we need the truth. Think about what's at stake here. These cameras take away your choice, the fundamental human choice to move through your community without being tracked. You can't drive to a medical clinic, a church, a protest, a therapy session without that data being cataloged, stored, and potentially weaponized against you years from now. One false match, one algorithm error, one malicious database administrator. That's all it takes to shatter an innocent person's life, identified by a machine that doesn't understand context, that doesn't see humanity, just pixels and numbers. It is fundamentally wrong to normalize mass surveillance in the name of convenience. It is wrong to trade our freedom for a false promise of safety. History teaches us that every surveillance apparatus, no matter how well-intentioned, at its inception, will eventually be abused. These cameras weren't debated in public forums. They were slipped in through city council meetings, budget line items, and contractor agreements signed behind closed doors. And now they're everywhere. Thousands of them, always watching. The only thing that matters now is what you do in this moment. This is our moment. We cannot wait for government oversight that may never come. We cannot assume that privacy regulations will protect data that already exists when that infrastructure is already in place. We need to speak up. We need to demand transparency. We need to demand action from our elected officials or take them out of office. You don't need a cape to be a superhero. You don't need superpowers. You just need to refuse to accept the slow erosion of your privacy as the price of progress. Stand up for your right to move through your community unseen, untracked, and free. Don't accept this. Do something.